All right, so this is Zoe by Gems. So Zoe, great elusive threat, probably the best champion out of the latest card drop here. So Nexus Strike creates you that super cool star chart that invokes a card that costs 3 or less, which provides a lot of good utility. She's also self-enabling in a way because she levels when she's seen you play 10 differently named cards, and super cool star chart generates extra cards past it. So usually Zoe creates 2, 3, or even 4 differently named cards for her to see you play. And then she's also elusive as well, so she slips past things. This deck at its core is an elusive aggro deck with Zoe, Lunari Shadestalker, Sparklefly, and Nyandroid. And then all of these elusive threats pair well with the gem mechanic out of the target region, which allows you to increase the attack on your unit. Mentor, another card that allows you to make your elusive things bigger. One curve that's very good in this format right now is curving that Sparklefly into Mentor of the Stones when you're attacking on odds, so that way you can create that kind of 3-4 lifesteal elusive that's very difficult for aggressive decks to race. Because we're playing Nyandroid as one of our elusive threats, we're also playing Ballistic Bot down here at the bottom end of our curve. This creates us ignitions every turn, which allow us to trigger the augment. Ballistic Bot is also pretty reasonable with Vi here as our second champion, who gets bigger every time we play a card. Her base champion mode is very good at helping us control the board with her Challenger and Tough, and then her leveled mode helps us close games out by dealing 5 damage whenever she strikes something while attacking. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this build and see how it goes. We've played Zoe Victor Gems in the past. I'm interested to see how Vi feels in comparison. Does this deck need landmark removal? I don't think so, carry turn. Our deck's an aggro deck at its core, so I think our plan for things like Plaza is to just run them down most of the time. Interact with them by interacting with their Nexus. And let's find out, huh? Out of the frying pan and into the plaza. I do have a couple of cheeky give it alls at the top end of our curve here. With this one, too, I don't think we want gift giver. I think we basically never keep give it all in the opener. This is a great curve here. You were timed out for asking if I missed lethal because your comment wasn't helpful or useful. If I see that I missed lethal, I will immediately point out how I missed lethal. If you think I missed lethal and I didn't point it out, you should tell me how I missed it, rather than saying, Jeff, go back and recalculate everything you've already calculated and didn't see. Have that Sparklefly into Mentor of the Stones chat here. Yeah, it's not about being right or wrong, it's about you doing the homework. I think I'd rather power up Sparklefly than Zoe here. Zoe's the bigger threat they want to get rid of because she generates card advantage, so yeah.
Breaks on the battlefield. Bask in the light's radiance.
Just want to be resource efficient this turn. Like Cat plus Zoe.
Please feel the sun's glory. Devotion through battle.
It's more so Zio to communicate what I'm looking for from chat, rather than asking me the question saying, hey Jeff, is this thing correct? Instead, just tell me why it's correct. This is what specifically I am looking for on average.
New potential.
Shouldn't we Zoe first for the level trigger? I wanted to Android to try and get them to single combat first, but yeah, you're probably right that's not relevant. Is the silence useful here? I think I'm going to take the silence because they definitely play... The opponent's archetype definitely plays, what's it called? They play the Daybreak Lifesteal, and being able to wipe 5 attack off of that is potentially very valuable.
Try to leave a dent.
Warriors of the Raharaka, time is now.
We'll follow you to the edge of.
Do we know if the next pick ban gauntlet is best of what again, Ironclad? We just pass here and bank spell mana, right? Last season, they had been giving us some best of 3 pick ban gauntlets in the mix.
A sacred guardian ruled by holy light. To shine like the sun, you must burn like it.
Alright, in an effort to not die this turn, I think we Equinox this. Do I want to gain 4 with this? If I gain 4, we're taking 13, 16. Yeah, that's fine. Without doing this, we're taking more than that. Is Grand Targon a good deck for climbing? It is a good deck. I don't think I would call it an explicitly good deck for climbing, though. Your win rate will definitely be reasonable if you're playing well, but it's not a particularly fast deck.
For those who need it.
Their treat will be doomed.
So they gave us a frowny face there, which means they're going to hush us into a judgment next turn, is what they're looking to do. They're like, hush a blocker and then judgment us. They have enough mana to do that? They're going to be a mana short of that.
You'll find Mew a formidable foe. Unleash Mew potential. A Meowsterpiece.
Hey, Liams, thank you for the quarter review. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. There's a lot of great people you can ship that Prime to. Thanks for dropping it up here again.
Oh
Dee-dee-dee-dee. Well, that's a good start. I always like when we get to do the thing to start, and that was definitely qualifies as the thing. Viewer count just popped up. We got an auto host from somewhere. Welcome to folks joining the channel. We're playing some Runeterra this morning. This is Riot's League of Legends digital card game. Oh, another deck submission for a Victor Atrocity build around and for Zoe Karma. Thank you, Triple D and Courier, for the support. I'll get those added to the deck queue after we're done today. All right, mono Fiora target. Are there any decks around that make Shyvana look good? Yeah, if you go onto my website, jeffhoagland.com, and click Runeterra decks, there is a Sunny Shyvana deck in the mid-range section that I think is very reasonable. Is a Grand Plaza Leona Shyvana deck. Yep. Both my website with the Runeterra deck section there, as well as my highlights YouTube channel are two great places to find off the beaten path deck list. I want to play here. I probably want to set myself up to open attacks next turn. Oh, I guess. So next turn could be the Fiora turn. And if I don't open attacks, they could definitely have Fiora into Sharp Sight to mess me up. It's either bot or it's Duskbringer.
I forgot how slow
I think I just play bot here. It's my favorite deep build. If you look back on my general YouTube channel from like 2 weeks ago, there was a build of deep up there that I liked. It was basically a no-frills kind of turbo deep style deck that wasn't playing big cards like Atrocity or Ruination. It was just like all get deep as quick as possible cards. How do we feel about super cool star charting right away here to pump up my bot? I think I like it. I think I take the charger here and just like plan to try and go wide. No, not the solo Nautilus deck. It's a Maokai Nautilus deck. Maokai's very good in the deep. No Fiora on 3 here is huge for us.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way. We were peaceful once.
So I think we just take this opportunity to continue going wide. Yeah, it dropped the, that was another notable change. We dropped the elusive sea monster for more things that just hammer people.
They would fall by my blade. I never hold back. Try me. Devotion through battle. You cannot hold us down.
I think there's value in trading here, so that way there's nothing on my board that has a small amount of power in the short term. Maybe that's wrong.
Flee with 2 E's.
With 2 E's. The trade opens them up for standalone. Yeah, that's a good thought. I didn't think about that aspect of it. Yeah, December 15th sounds about right. It was about 2 weeks ago. And there's that standalone. There's a good chance this matchup's very bad for us. Like, I would not be surprised if we die next turn.
Invisible to the ignorant.
So, if my opponent has Sharp Sight here, they get to block one of my elusives anyways. And if they have Sharp Sight's one of the things that saves them from this attack. It could be right to just swing with everything. The problem with swinging with this is, in the event they don't have any combat tricks here, they get to eat this for free. This attack is bad if they have Ranger's Resolve or Chain Vest, as opposed to Sharp Sight. I mean, I think you just highlighted the reason why it's not broken. We didn't start the order. The opponent's archetype is polarizing, but I also don't think it's broken by any means. Their decks that have access to Hush are very reasonable against the opponent's archetype, as well as their deck just beats itself with some frequency. Their deck's worst matchup is losing their Fiora or not finding Fiora and then not being able to do much with it. Alright, so looking for a stun here. Did not find a stun. Yeah, it's also not great against the... I'm not playing copies of Hush. We didn't start the order. Our deck's aggressive. It's not controlling.
Destruction. Fire till nothing moves.
I never hold back.
Oh God!
Give it all doesn't accomplish anything here. Oh, this is wrong. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we're dead to single combat. Just how this works.
This will be quick.
Yeah. Can't beat single combat like when it open. Like I said, I think Fiora's on the list of cards that I would consider some amount of change to, just because I do think it's one of the more polarizing cards in the game. And in general, its matchups are basically always swings. It has very good matchups and very bad matchups without having a lot in the middle. Yeah, I agree with that. How would I want to see Fiora change? I don't know. It's not my job. I think one of the mistakes people make a lot of the time is thinking that it's the player's job to fix things. I think there's 100 different things they could do to change it, and I'd be okay with most of them. And I'd rather see what Riot comes up with rather than me saying I know what's best.
Doesn't understand, silly.
Yeah, like that's one of the many reasonable things. Instead of it instantly winning you the game, you could just have it deal like 10 to 15 Nexus damage, so it's just like a big hit. So it's like most of the way there, but not all of it. So they're like almost assuredly a... Maybe they don't have the Daybreak 2-drop?
My faith.
They do, and that's fine. I still get to hit with this. Yeah, I agree with that, Violet Journey. It's a deck that tends to generate unsatisfying gameplay for regardless if you're winning or losing. Yeah, I wouldn't expect... People have said the number 4 on her is relevant to her league skill set. Also, if they change the number of kills she needs to win the game, it would change the animation, which probably makes it more difficult to do. But, like, there's tons of different ways they could change her, right? Like, even things as simple as, adjusting her stat line, even making Riposte cost more mana is technically a nerf to Fiora. Like, taking Riposte and pushing it to 5 mana would be a fine change. Ton of different directions it could go. Alright. Gonna go wide here, sounds good.
We're playing catch with Zoe. I'm a serious artist now. I paint Sparkleflex.
You trespass on sacred lands, unbeliever.
You know not the meaning of sacred.
Yeah, even things like that. Just taking her stat line and dragging her down to 2 toughness. There's always, and that's one of the things that's really neat about Runeterra and why, you know, talking about what changes I would do I don't think is super relevant, because there's always so many different directions changes could be taken in. What you doing over there? Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Do. I think I pale here to save my goat.
My faith are one.
Crescent Strike or Equinox, please. God, that's unlucky. It's brutal. Can someone go do the math on like what the odds are to get one of 2 cards off of this? It's gotta be pretty high, right? I think I'm taking Danger Noodle. And they're definitely attacking me, so. Is it 60% to get any 2 cards? I'm pretty sure it was higher than that.
I am superior life form.
Oh, I should have done this first, right? Yeah, missed a count here, technically.
Upside again? Whichever way the paint drips, Zoe. I call this constellation the jump rope.
Safety disengaged.
Shift time.
Judgment me, daddy. $60, 64.3%. God bless.
The more we learn, the less we fear.
The less we fear.
System upgrade. A ticket to the gun show.
To the gun show.
Where's my journal? I'm ready.
Okay, so I was hoping for a double stun there, but I'll settle for Equinox. I'm gonna bank Spell Mana this turn, I think. I think the plan at this point is to try and vie into Give It All.
Her light is our sword, her warmth our armor.
Can you improve perfection?
Channel our power.
It does work well, Adamant.
Follow the tracks.
Forge ahead.
And get the attack with everything. We just block the 1-1 into the 5-1 and call it a day. The 2-1 into the 5-1 and 5-2 and call it a day.
We will resist.
Could block the goat into the 1-3 for the gem. I think I'd rather not get Pale Cascaded. Yeah, we have 2 elusives and we have 2 things with high attack. So hopefully this Give It All should be good to go.
System upgrade. Join me if you want to live. Can you improve perfection?
All right, meatbags, listen up. Hey, Adam, thank you for the sub gifts. Double Hush could get us here. Maybe? I think we beat Double Hush, right? I'll take a timeout for Hush Judgment. Well, if they must not have the Judgment, right?
System upgrade.
Fresh Lobster. Thanks for the raid. Hope you had a wonderful stream. Yeah, they can't Judgment anymore. They could have Judgmented if they would have saved the Hush initially, so. If they had a Hush there, they could have, if they had Judgment, they could have waited till we attacked after the Give It All happened, Hush blocked Judgmented. Zoe. Zoe's got the music, chat. She's got the tunes. This one's at least, our deck's at least functional. We've gotten to do the thing a couple of times, so that's great. Phil in Game Beta, thanks for the follows. Nolip, welcome. Huh? I feel like we're supposed to mulligan these and keep the Pale Cascade. I don't really know what we're looking for here, though. I guess I'm looking for things like my support Mentor of the Stones to make some of my units individually larger to make them harder for Fiora to deal with on her own. I would assume this matchup is bad for us, like I mentioned earlier, though. Their deck's pretty polarizing and is good against things that have a lot of small units in it.
Rise.
For folks that are new to the channel, coming over from Lobster's Raid, welcome. I stream Runeterra full-time here on Twitch. I'm here 5 to 6 days a week. About 9 a.m. Central Cornfield time I start, and I go for 5-6 hours sometimes. Usually play at least 3 different constructed decks every single day when I'm live.
I rise anew!
Paradigm shift time!
So their deck has, like, endless combat tricks in it. If I block and Pale Cascade, I lose to Standalone? I think I'm okay with that, though, huh?
Your history!
Anything other than Standalone doesn't beat a +2/+1 here. They could have Targon's Blessing too, I suppose. I've seen that one being played sometimes. That costs 5 mana, another Grant 3/3. The Mighty Auras, thanks for the follow. Welcome. So Hush plus a combat trick out of them. I feel like this exchange. Ooh, Repast would have been bad too. That's a good call. I feel like this exchange overall is good for us though. Getting a Hush used in that instance feels like a win for the home team.
Look at this reality! Look how sparkly!
And then I gotta decide, do I want to try and murder their Zoe with Mystic Shot? I think I'd rather Mentor Stones here.
Meditation requires concentration.
I've got another threat to follow this up. Should I attack, buff, and they trade into my Zoe? Or eat her again? Eat her like they ate the cat? And if they're eating this, that means I'm keeping the Mentor, which is good. Okay, they drew a Riposte for the turn. 4 off the Pale last turn. And again, like, the opponent's deck is basically the de facto Go Fish deck in the format right now. They have so many answers, you just have to keep constantly asking the question, hey, do you have the thing? Hey, do you have the thing? Hey, do you have the thing? And eventually they say no, and it dies, or they keep having the thing and you die. But basically just gotta keep making them have it until eventually it works. See if they have another Zoe here. They do not. It's good for us.
A little luck for those who need
Like that, yeah. And sometimes they don't have it, and you get to get going, right? That's not particularly exciting, but it's the play you gotta make. Are we playing this pre-combat? They didn't have a Fiora last turn, which means they're less likely to have one right now. And they didn't have a protection spell either. I think I'm doing this before I attack. Especially with the Pale Cascade rolled up. Because if they draw Fiora, they might not have protection for Fiora, which would be good. And I feel like based on their sequencing last turn, they didn't have the Fiora to start, so they've only had 1 draw to find her. And again, like we won that game, but it's like wasn't very interesting, right? We just like played Go Fish, they eventually said no, and then they died. Their deck just has such a critical mass of things that you're just like, well, do you have it? Do you have it? It feels very similar to, yeah, like the mono blue Curious Obsession decks, only instead of drawing cards, they combo kill you. And check out my website at jeffhoagland.com. Karma Zoe. I think we keep Niandroid. We always mulligan Give It All. I think we always keep Vi so we can get her attack ticking up nice and quickly. No, thank you. Thanks for checking it out. I think we keep this to murder their one drop potentially. Although it is worth noting they're attacking on odds here, so they'll get to hit us with Zoe before we get to do this, unfortunately. I think I just end the round there, in case they're playing around Thermo Beam. Afternoon, Cali boys. Well, they didn't have Zoe yet. How do we feel about attack into here and then Mystic Shot this? That beats Pale Cascade even. This card's very good if it gets going. Can provide them with a lot of life. Kind of surprised they took the block even. I'm gonna go ahead and Mystic Shot in response here. Mystic Shotting in response means if they have Guiding Touch, they can't heal it in response to the Mystic Shot, because damage just happens 1-2 here. Obviously, they could have Nopify to save this, but playing around Guiding Touch here is definitely correct. We have a pretty decent curve here. We get to go Niandroid into Mentor of the Stones.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way.
Exalt me like the god I am! Meow!
Meow! Like the god I am.
Devotion through battle.
No reason to block there. Not gonna get got by a Pale Cascade. Hardmore, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon.
Gems are superb. Bad for the teeth, though.
Board games are great. For people that are new to the channel, you can kind of tell from my small webcam, but the shelf behind me is all various board games. Looking forward to no longer being in the plague times and being able to play a board game again. Have people over for that. All right, do I want this Moon Sliver, or do I want the Serpent, or do I want the Trickster for another elusive threat? Honestly, just more elusive threats kind of seem good. If I'm angling for Give It All, the Serpent could be better though. Everdell's a good one.
And here's where I paint my constellation.
And I think I hold on to this till post Niandroid so I can pump this up as well. Although I guess if I play this out now, this will get pumped up by Give It All later anyways. So maybe that's fine. It just depends on, do I want to play Vi? If I play Vi next turn, I can't do this for a couple of turns yet. I'm gonna go ahead and do this now. Hooking this Tail of the Dragon means they can't kill my Niandroid with a Hush, which is ideal. It's PvE, so you work as a group to stop multiple global pandemics. Well, that's just completely unrealistic, because if COVID has taught me anything, it's that most people aren't willing to work as a group to stop a pandemic. Nice fantasy board game. It's like, what was it? I saw a Twitter post about how the pandemic has given people new insight into movies like Jurassic Park. Because, you know, when you used to watch Jurassic Park back in the day, you'd be like, a bunch of people just died in there. There's no way that they would reopen the park and start letting people back in again into, like, Jurassic Parks 2 and 3. And, like, watching the pandemic and, like, watching people, like, continue to go and eat in restaurants and shit and, like, go to gyms. And it's just like, well, actually, maybe that would be how this would work, huh? I would love some gems. Well, I mean, yes. Well, yeah, or as a more directed, yes, Disney World is open. That one's so stupid, it gets blocked out of my mind a little bit. They must have a hush or a stun here, right? Do I want to just level Vi? I think I want to level Vi.
I'm doing this my way.
BT dubs, if you're someone that's surprised Disney World is open, you should go watch their post-pandemic we're reopening video ads. They are super dystopian surreal. It's just like, what is even going on? Man, they had the stun and the hush? Hairball. Rough. Alright, so this is trading with one of these, and then maybe the other one can kill them with Give It All. Okay, that's a good draw. This gives us another elusive here with Give It All. So even if they... Okay, they're killing Vi, that's fine. We got a real shot here. Oh, they're gemming to... I was like, why are they gemming? They're playing around Pale Cascade. That's smart.
Witness perfection. Meat bags.
Meat bugs.
Trickster never loses because Zoe makes the rules.
Mother Moon Valerie.
Can you improve perfection?
We're gonna give it all, chat. Time for some pop music. I mean, even if they hush this, I get to Pale Cascade this in response. Alright, any two are lethal. So definitely have to just attack right away after the Solari Priestess play.
Ooh, that's new.
That's new. Did we beat the hush stun, chat?
Your attack is obvious.
Do they have a second hush stun? If they have a second round of hush stun. Alright, double hush is not enough. Oh, it is enough, right? Because of the Zoe block? God bless America. Man, that's rough. Alright, so I think we're saving one of our units rather than... pushing extra damage this turn. Oh, you like keeping... Right, yes, keeping Ballista alive was strictly better because they're all the same stat line. It's a just a mistake on my part.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty.
It's a good catch. We were killing this anyways. And I think despite all of that, we're still in an okay spot here. That is all 3 hushes out of the opponent. Yep. This is the part where they flip over their Moonlight Affliction. Feels bad to not get to draw a card with that, but definitely gotta save my lethal threat.
Gravity? Which side was upside again? Whichever way the paint drips, Zoe. Reality is just your mind crumbling under what it doesn't hate. You brought back my favorite star.
My Targon Plaza deck is playing 3 hushes of the Moonlight. Yep.
Witness glory.
So we just kill this one, right? And then hope to kill them on open attacks? They have 1 card here. Well, this is dying, so they're not getting a thing, right? So they can't get an Equinox here. They've got whatever this is. I think they've only played 2. They played 2 Concussive Palms. They've played 3 hushes. Please die.
Heart and mind as one.
So, I know it is very easy to look at this game and feel like we couldn't do anything, but remember, this could have been a ballistic bot, right? And if this had been a ballistic bot, it would have dealt a damage and gotten an extra power last turn, and I would have another damage in my hand and be getting another damage next turn. Thank you very much for the Prime support. I know there's a lot of great people who can ship that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending it my way this month to keep me employed.
Gravity? Which side was upside again?
So
Whichever
if
way the paint drips,
I would have kept the correct unit, we very likely would have won this game. We're not just dead yet. We're not in a great spot, but we're not guaranteed dead by any means.
One girl wrecking crew.
The game's not fully over. It depends on what these cards are here. This is lethal. We have Hearthstone lethal on board.
Trouble coming at ya.
Yeah, and like, it's games like this where we lost the game on turn 12 here, but we lost the game on turn 12, but I made a decision on turn like 7 that caused me to lose that game, are some of the toughest to really evaluate. Having to pinpoint down why what happened. Yeah, so, like, my deck lost that game, but had I made better decisions, I could have definitely won it. Yeah, it was a good game, right? Like, if I would have played slightly better, we would have beaten, like, triple hush, double stun earlier on, right? But missing that detail with the give it all was one that ended up costing me. That busy mode is great. Yeah, it was really, really good back and forth. And like, it's honestly, it's super easy to walk away from a game like that and just complain about cards like Hush and Star Shaping rather than thinking critically about what happened and like being reflective and learning from mistakes that she made. No, if I had programmed MTG Bot, I would have renamed it by now. It's a community tool. Alright, let's see if this Scouts player can manage to not have Misfortune on 3 into quad Scout units. I don't have a way to power this up. Maybe it's right to keep it though still. Hope we draw one. The reason why I like your stream, you tend to go with what you did as a line of thinking. Yeah, I mean that's the only way you can get better at playing card games. Like, if you spend a bunch of time focusing on what your opponent has, you're just going to be a salty pillar and never get better. You can't control the cards your opponent has. You can only reevaluate what you did as a player inside of the game. Is there an actual mechanic for what you draw earlier, or do you just draw randomly? No, you just get cards at random. Your draws are completely random. You have equal chances to draw all of the cards. If I can play Riot enough, I might be able to control what cards my opponent has, and they just nerf everything that wins against me. Please, Riot, nerf the cards that beat Misfortune. They're in the tank. Do they have both Misfortune and Plaza? They must have Plaza too, right? Like, there's no way you tank there with the Misfortune in hand if you don't also have the Plaza. Hey, Malicious, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. Liliana Sky Mage, welcome, welcome. Oh. Well, you know. I'm here. This is where 2020 has brought me mentally, yeah. Feels bad, man. And I can't deploy blockers, right? Because if I play this just kills it, then Misfortune still gets to attack. I guess I could technically Spacey Sketcher, hold Pale Cascade, and then if they attack with this, I get to kill her. The problem with this is playing this out means that I'm not gonna have time to get to give it all this game. Can help us swing a race on the line. The problem is if they just attack with this here and they hook this, like the good play is just attack this into this. It would be very loose for them to attack. This is fine too. I think this attack is loose into a Pale Cascade deck. Please, please make this attack. I maybe have a shot if you make this attack.
Hold still.
Find out how good the rest of their hand is, I suppose. Yeah, big agree, Hidden Flames. Alright, and there's a chance. We get to go Goat into Shadestalker next turn. Opponent confirmed not ghosting. Yep. They could also just have second Misfortune, I suppose. I wouldn't be surprised to see Plaza here based on their tank last turn.
Like the stink of glory.
Darkness hides in my path.
It's also worth noting that I think as the game goes long, my opponent's likely more favored than we are to win. Their deck with things like Quinn has a little bit more bigger top end than we do.
No prey.
Yeah, just second Misfortune. Yeah, so one of the things about Runeterra as a game ruin is a lot of my cute little quips that I would do while playing Magic. They don't really translate well to Runeterra, because Runeterra, you're not held hostage by your opponent for good. Hawk, super dead here. Because there's not so much downtime in Runeterra like you experience in games like Magic. If you sat there and counted how much time in Magic was just like waiting for your opponent to make plays or like fiddle with their lands, it's an incredible amount of waiting. I actually rant less while playing Runeterra as well because there's just less dead space to fill. Look at the Gift Giver. Dustbringer pairs nicely with this. I guess does it? Maybe I'm only against Spacey Sketcher actually.
They forced us to choose.
This is likely fearsome aggro here.
Temperamental as moonlight.
Mother Moon, veil me.
No more hiding.
Offer this trade here, which I assume they're going to pass on. They're just interested in racing here. They probably have Go Hard in their deck. They're very unlikely to have a Go Hard in their deck. Is not likely in the slightest.
Bad for the teeth, though.
Sir, what's our best draw here? Like Sparklefly, probably? It's our best racing tool. Pale Cascade's not terrible. The downside to playing this pre-combat is they could play Wraithcaller. I think I'm okay with that, though.
Light flowers upon my blade.
These jewels are more than mere trinkets.
I feel like the minus spider getting used defensively is a net win for us overall.
Oh, floaty crystals.
Put a gem on here so I have a extra fearsome blocker next turn. I am also not sure if no blocks is good for us there.
You leave me no recourse. flowers bring the moonlight with them. You cannot hold us down.
Can we do this so we don't die to Pale Cascade? West Coast, Best Coast. Hope you're staying safe out there on the left coast. Thank you for the 2 months. Welcome back. To go ahead and play this, and then have lethal open with elusives. Sometimes these play Unspeakable Horror to finish this off, but otherwise looking like we could win this race here. Sweet. Love it. Well... Play a 2-2. Rats. Rats. My deck does not have protection for Zoe to draw 2 here, so I definitely want to lead on her. In the event they don't have this on 1, it means they can't draw it on 2, and then kill her before I attack. So, feels bad, but it's optimal to play that there. This matchup's probably bad for this deck as built. One thing this deck is doing that's very different than a lot of the other Zoe elusive decks that we've played is this deck doesn't have a lot of combat tricks to keep its threats alive. We have like just Pale Cascade. We're not playing things like the +2 defense card. I think that makes us markedly much worse here. Not being able to do things like save our Zoe in response to the drain. I think I'm kind of into open attacks into this. A dodge Vile Piece. We can dodge a ball here. I think Glimpses A-okay. We actually just respond with Mystic Shot here. Deny them their cards. That exchange overall I think is reasonable for us. We're gonna get to go Fulinari into Vi here next turn. Are you talking about regeneration, Liliana, that heals units at the end of turn, like Trundle has?
Like a fish in water.
So I think I would rather double Sparklefly this turn rather than Vi. And the reason for this is next turn I can play Vi before we attack. And she'll only be a single action, whereas playing both of these would be 2 actions. Cool, man. Thanks for the follow. Good afternoon.
Oh, I hear them!
Notable that my opponent does have Vengeance mana available. And honestly, I think with the Niandroid draw here, I'd kind of rather just be like in on elusives, right? I guess I have to worry about Ruination this turn. Are we playing Go Fish with Ruination? I'm not sure I can beat Ruination. Like, my deck just doesn't generate card advantage, and none of, like, and this is the problem with, like, my opponent's board-based deck that also gets to play sweepers. Like, I need to play cards to get ahead on board, because we're basically at board parity right now, but if I do that, I then get ruined by Pack and Ruination. I think I'm supposed to cat and just pretend Ruination doesn't exist.
You pay. I talk to
Okay,
spirits.
this works for us.
My rules.
So we'll gem both of these butterflies here, so that way we can trade into this 2/2. Get to push some damage here. So far, Vi's felt really underwhelming in this deck. She's just felt like a piece of top end that can't actually close games out. She's felt like this controlling card in my deck that otherwise wants to be aggressive. Which cards have activated abilities? I assume based on your username, you have a Magic background. Cards don't really have activated abilities in Runeterra like we see in Magic. MTG Bot's just a poorly named community tool. It's basically card bot. It does Magic cards, Runeterra cards, like Eternal Card Game, Gwent. It does a bunch of things. It does Hearthstone too. Alright, so that was their second pack. So, our second Go Hard. I think we're just gemming this to keep it alive from a second one. Make them have their deal 5 to everything. And if they have their pack the bags, we just lose. Yep. That's actually a really interesting thought, Violet Journey. Creating fleeting cards like Victor and Ballistic Bot is kind of how Runeterra does activated abilities. I never thought about it that way, but that's super true. Hey, thanks for the 15 months, Robo Snake Ape. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. It is a while. Alright, pack me up. I'm ready to go to the next game.
We playing build rules, son?
Playing build rules, son.
Mystical levitation requires concentration.
Nah, I like that fleeting cards count against hand size. I mean, that technically bodes well for us, even if they're still pretty likely to hit another. Yay! We played Go Fish and they didn't have it! Fish. You have Thermo Beam. What do you think? What problem do I have that Thermo Beam solves? I think playing Interaction in my aggressive deck that doesn't double as reach to the dome is not great. Hashtag sometimes lucky, chat. Hashtag sometimes lucky. There aren't any cards in Runeterra that say you take an extra turn, but there are cards that give you an extra attack on an individual turn. Is about the closest thing that you get to a Time Walk in Runeterra. I think we're keeping bot. I don't even know if I'm keeping bot here. I'm gonna keep goat and mulligan these looking for some elusives. How did I get this background? This was one of the boards available during the Spirit Blossom Festival. I don't believe it's currently available in the shop. Thermo would be busted if it hit base. Big agree.
What it doesn't understand, silly.
What it doesn't understand, silly.
Let's do it over there.
Yeah, the fact that Runeterra has both players always playing is one of the best things about it. It's one of the reasons why there's less downtime and you get to stay focused on the game because you're not just waiting to play constantly. Oh, is it still in the shop? It's definitely, this is one of the premium boards, so it's more expensive than the other ones. I believe it's $12. Falcon, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. So, next turn, we get to go Spacey Sketcher, Ditch the Gem, Shadestalker. Nice. Opponent going for value here. Wailing is fun. Ha! Moonsilver means I could Vi next turn, which sounds really sweet.
And here's where I paint my constellation.
Invisible to the ignorant.
Vi stands for vicious.
Yeah, if you're viewing the Runeterra stream on your desktop computer, you can mouse over cards that are up there, thanks to the magic of Twitch extensions. I think I'd actually rather kill the Sparklefly. Oh, this is wrong. Oh, it is tough, right? I should still technically order this first. If they Pale Cascade this and gain life back by ordering is wrong here. Alright, we're gonna go wide with the Lucis here. We get to go Cat into Shadestalker. Was I supposed to murder her in response? It's possible we were supposed to Mystic Shot her in response. I don't know, saving this as reach to go to the dome has a lot of appeal too, though.
Must we fight?
So if they Pale Cascade, I Pale Cascade back. Gotta dodge Hush and second Cascade here. Which I kind of assume they have based on this attack with the spell shield. Should be a pretty aggressive. Wow. That feels like a loose attack into me having Cascade.
Gravity? Which side was upside again? Whichever way the paint drips, Zoe.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Breathe in, breathe out. A lot of cards with support in Runeterra struggle to be very competitive, in large part due to the fact that they only work when attacking. I like to click on the board incessantly, chat. Don't judge me.
Look at this reality!
Look
Look how sparkly!
how sparkly! I'd like to try and murder your Zoe before I attack. Yeah, the premium boards, see these pleb boards don't have any tactile feedback. The premium boards. Give me that sweet tactile feedback. That sweet tactile feedback that you crave, chat.
Force is meaningless without skill.
Alright, who's got 2 thumbs and is ready to get combo killed from 18? I guess I should technically Sparklefly here to gain a life, so that way I'm less likely to get combo killed next turn. They're only gonna have 8 mana, so hopefully we're alive. I think the War Chef's nerf was actually a good example of a change forcing people to make their decks better than they actually were previously. So I think the builds, a lot of the decks that were playing War Chefs when that card was a 2-3, it probably wasn't optimal for them to be playing that card anyways. And then it getting nerfed forced them to actually move into better cards. Look, Harp, thank you for the tier 2. I really appreciate the 19 months. Welcome back. Afternoon. Alright, there's Zenith Blade. Three more spells to level them up. Crescent Strike. Man, we are in incredibly bad at finding Crescent Strike. We've like every time we've looked for that card today, it has not been there. Can I give another example of that? In Magic, when they banned Bridge from Below, it made Hogok decks better in Modern. Does Moonglow protect from Dragon's Rage? It does, but it doesn't stop this from just dealing damage to it.
Come on!
The dragon spirit awakens. My lands need me. Prepare yourself.
I mean, to set like a stupidly low bar, I think Hogok was better than the current format Modern's Magic currently has. How did banning Bridge make it better? The Bridge builds weren't good to begin with, and the builds that people moved to after banning Bridge happened were more competitive, were stronger than what the Bridge deck was doing. That's why they ended up going on and banning more.
So much tinier than my space doggy.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, well.
With 2 E's.
With 2 E's.
I've licked my wounds too long.
Yeah, we're just into Lisa. Our opponent is much better at finding Crescent Strike than we are. Much better at finding Crescent Strike than we are. Yeah, we didn't get the stun and they did. Rigged invokes. It was all stacked against us. Never forget, chat. The Shuffler's as rigged as the earth is flat. All right, can we go 5 for 5? Our Scouts opponent having misfortune on 3 into Scouts immediately. Can we do it, chat? I believe in us. 5 for 5.
Only a fool would enter battle unprepared.
They have the same card clumping bug as an MTG. So this is the thing. This is the thing. This comment. I can't tell if this comment is serious or someone trolling stupid people that believe the Shuffler is rigged.
It's our
I can't tell if Liliana is trolling or just very stupid. I feel like the world would be a better place if we required people to take more statistics classes.
Their scent travels on the night air.
Since I have a pending Trump check, it's time to put my money where my mouth is and give you some money. Thanks for stimulating my economy. I appreciate the quarter of a year. Is that lewd? If I say thank you for stimulating my economy, does that sound lewd? Yeah, so for people that are new to the channel, in a previous lifetime, I have a master's degree in mathematics. I've spent time teaching introductory statistics classes, among lots of other things. And something that's very common among humans in general is that when you tell a person humans do not think that clumps are random, And when you ask people to generate random numbers for you, they frequently will create very even distributions. The human brain is very bad at parsing what random actually means. As an intellectual that knows the Earth is flat, I can tell you with 100% certainty the shuffler is not rigged.
Fortune favors the bold.
Behold me now, hairless apes!
The Walmart social media manager forgot to switch their account and called out Senator Hawley for being a sore loser from Walmart's account. I'm not sure on the evolutionary background of why people are bad at recognizing patterns. Yes! 5 for 5! 5 for 5! We're so good at this game, chat! Look at that! Look at that! Yeah! Punish me, misfortune. You know just what I like. Chat stimulating my economy, misfortunes punishing me with birds. It's a kinky day, chat. God bless America, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of the icing. I think we're just playing Ballistic Bot here. I think.
Humanity is obsolete.
Bless his motion.
Love ya.
I think the shuffler is rigged comments on Magic Arena are also extra funny. Like 3 of the same non-basic name in your hand and your opponent's the first 5 turns of the game. Yes, the word random includes clumps. Clumps are by definition random. I do have to say, the biggest peak about teaching at Twitch University as opposed to teaching at accredited universities is that when people say things that are incredibly stupid, I just get to be like, don't be dumb, stop it, get some help. As opposed to holding their hands. And then like and then like, I think this is the 3rd out of the 5 games where oh yeah, the pay at Twitch University is way better. I've talked about this before, but for people that don't realize what college professors make in terms of salary in the United States, there was a school that I taught at one point that paid me $1,200 to teach a 12-week class. Besphinx, thank you for the 16 months. And then the kicker to that number was I knew I got paid more as a math teacher than the English and philosophies and other arts teachers made. So I was paid extra because of the field I was in. And that was the extra amount. To teach a 3-credit hour class. It's better to equate how much you're teaching in terms of credit hours as opposed to times you meet per week, because some 3-credit hour classes are once a week, some are 2 or 3 times a week. It depends on how the school's structuring it. That's true. Non-adjunct professors get paid more, but it's also important to recognize that because of late-stage capitalism, universities and colleges have moved more and more towards only having adjunct professors because it's cheaper. Honestly, against Zoe Fizz, I think I'm keeping all of these. A bunch of elusive sounds great.
I bear a message.
And like to give context to that number, teaching 5 to 6 classes is considered a full-time teaching load. So if you taught 6 classes at $1,200 a class, that's what, $7,200 for a semester?
They forced us to choose death or the blade.
Is that right? What's 12 times 6? Is that 7,200? Math? Yeah, that's right, right? So like, even if professors are paid so little, why is college so expensive? Because of administration costs. What administrators make, by and large. Does being good at math help at Runeterra? It does. Being good at math helps with the games in general. Dr. Mangiarati, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Lunari, rise!
That's true. Honestly, having a good math and game theory understanding is just good at life in general. For example, to talk about current life events, the fact that people don't understand how exponential growth works is a big part of why there's a lot of idiots that think COVID isn't a big deal and they don't need to take it seriously. If we had better understandings of how exponential growth works, I think people would take COVID a lot more seriously. Alright, so with Mystic Shot here, I think we try and murder Zoe and then play Shadestalker. Yeah, saying like programmatically is just pseudo-random and it's different, that's a pretty like actually push your glasses up type definition. Functionally, it's the same. My favorite, I think even the conspiracy theories in general tend to not make much sense. But like the people that are spreading conspiracy theories about the COVID vaccine and they're going to use the COVID vaccine to inject tracking into you. It's like, you idiot, you just tweeted that you're upset they want to track you from your smartphone. They don't need to inject a tracking mechanism into you, you dumb idiot. You carry one in your pocket happily, and you smile while you post from it. You 1984'd yourself. They don't need to be tricky about it. You all have phones, right? Yeah, exactly. I probably should kill this, huh? I might be wrong to give them another turn with this. I think we just play by here to pull their elusive blocker out of the way. You 1984'd yourself is a fantastic quote. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, we've all given up privacy for the sake of convenience. That's just like the reality of the world we live in today. And like, I'm okay with that. Like, that's fine. I like getting targeted ads rather than random ads. That makes my life better as a consumer. Yeah, like, this was a conscious decision. You 1984'd yourself. was the quote that someone said they liked. All right, if they don't kill us next turn, I feel like they're gonna have a hard time. I get to like double bot into Nyandroid and get through. All right, that's pretty good towards them not dying. They're gonna get to pump this up. Targeted ad means buying more things you don't really need. Not really. I have pretty reasonable impulse control.
Mystical levitation
I don't.
requires concentration.
Once I stamp papers, now faces.
Celestial power. Oh, floaty crystals.
How does it feel about this game's choice of now not allowing double, triple blocking? I like it a lot, Moon. I think the not allowing double or triple blocking works really well. Works really well at keeping the boards well maintained and managed. I think it works really well with the fact that the way blocking this game works too works well with how they're it works well with how the damage stays on units. It also helps keep the board smaller and makes keywords like overwhelm better at ending games, which is good. Cards being able to end games is important instead of having games drag on endlessly. Yeah, it makes defensively stated creatures more valuable as well. This is definitely true. So Vi here, assuming she doesn't get stunned or hushed, can hook this down at the end. That being said, I definitely want to ignition before we attack because we get to pump these up, which is nice.
Rise, noble brethren.
The color is off.
We can't quite kill them here, huh? I think I'm supposed to kill this one, and then we force blocks on the rest. Putting their lifesteal last forces them to block more defensively, which is good for us. Vi won't level here because she's going to trade, but that's also fine. We're not likely to be dead on the backswing, and then hopefully these ignitions and whatever elusives we have left over can close the game out. Hey, congrats, Clop. Quote 69 is referencing Delver of Secrets, Magic the Gathering card. Alright, and again, like, these Sparkle Flies are just very difficult to race. The opponent's gonna get to, like, triple gem this, plus grant it 2/2, so, like, they could be gaining 8 back next turn. Wow, actual factual parlay. Oh, Wiggly Burblefish made it. That's a good random generation. Yeah, I think we're actually behind at this point, huh? I think I need to gem this so I can trade with Sparklefly, and like...
These gems grant a wearer harmony.
I should play this out here. Sparklefly plus leveled Zoe is just good in general.
Enter, traveler, and stop staring.
Stop staring. Yeah, we're out of gas at this point.
Whee! No.
Nope.
Looking into the future, I see purple,
Purple? It is an old quote. I've actually been working with my graphics guy to put together some sub badges for people that are 5-year subs. Like I've been streaming on Twitch for probably close to 7 years at this point. It's a long time.
So ordinary.
Alright, have some gems. Lee Zoe is a deck that people have been playing in the format. It's very reasonable. We played against it a couple times today, even. We're trying for almost a year. We just found out that we're pregnant. Something good to come out of this year, but we're not telling people yet, but I need to let it out. I understand that. Oh, we're super dead. Yeah, I understand that. Keeping Haley a secret from people was tough. I hope everything works out. I hope you and your significant other have a smooth pregnancy. Are we not people then? I would assume that Quintius Flavius goes by something different in real life. Thank you for the bits, by the way. I really appreciate that. So to wrap on this one, overall, I was pretty underwhelmed by this. Vi specifically felt much worse as a second champion in this deck than other more aggressively slanted champions felt. She's just more of a controlling card, mid-rangey card, and she felt very out of place with like the rest of the elusive aggro bottom end of what this deck was looking to accomplish. I feel like if I wanted to play like a give it all focused deck, do I still have it in my editor? Zoe Victor, I don't have Victor Heimer in here. Victor Heimer was one of the highlights on my highlights YouTube channel recently, and I think that that's probably just better as far as like a what's it called deck goes. I don't even know if I want to play Ezreal. Honestly, like the core of what this deck was doing felt worse than like the Zoe Diana deck with the Starlight Seer or the Zoe Fizz deck. Like, I felt overall this deck was like doing a lot of similar things to what Zoe Fizz was doing, and I'd rather just be playing Zoe Fizz. Yeah, I think that summarizes it well, Lampton. The Diana Vi deck that we played for a little bit, that was more of a mid-range deck as opposed to a linear aggro deck, because both Vi and Diana serve a very similar role in that they're both interactive champions that are sometimes aggressive, whereas like this deck was mostly aggressive cards that then had Vi at the top end that wasn't always aggressive and was sometimes controlling. All right, I think I'm going to be done with Runeterra for the afternoon.